Okay, guys, welcome to one more part. Some of the parts we have uploaded for members. Become a cloud kernel member and gain access. Okay, this will give you access to a lot of additional questions and information which will elevate your chances of clearing certification. Subscribe to this channel. Let's look at the next question here in this space. Okay, so this is a big table related question. We are trying to address the topic hotspot avoidance in big table. So you are ingesting 1 million you ingest 1 million writes per second of time series metrics. Okay, it is keyed by the keys it has is which device is sending the data and at what time does it send the data. These are the keys. Spikes cause node hotspotting. What is the best design? What is node hotspot? See, in your office, if you are working for TCS, Infosys, etc., what happens is there is a team lead, and if there are 10 people in the team lead is allocating work. So this, if there are like so many people in the team, so the team lead makes sure that equal. So this guy is the team lead, and this guy makes sure equal amount of work is given to each person. Okay, hotspotting means one person gets a lot of work due to which that guy is not able to deliver at the right time. If he had the capacity to do 8 tasks, then he has been assigned 12 tasks and he is only able to do 10 tasks. 2 tasks are pending. So that means his performance goes down. Okay. So if that is the case, that is called node hotspotting. Now you must have observed I used the word he. I didn't use the word she. He and not she. Okay. Why? Because of a perception. Okay, and that perception may not be true or it may be true, depends upon project to project. So basically what we are trying to say is whenever work spikes come, and this is a real life scenario. If you see in many teams I have seen, even though there are so many people, there are some people who take the bulk of the load. If they are sick, then the other people find it so difficult to move. Okay, so there is always a Tendulkar in a team. There is always a Virat Kohli in the team. There are other team members, but then there is always one god and one king. Okay, again I use the word king, not queen. Okay, sorry for that. I have my teams where we also have queens taking care of bulk of a responsibility. But in my overall tenure of 25 years, I only worked on 2 projects where we had queens taking the good responsibility, but remaining around 12 projects where we had kings taking some responsibilities. So now, what is the best design in this case? What is the best design? See, there is a concept of salting, and I'm going slow here because these are difficult concepts. We have a concept called salting. What happens is, take the example of Instagram. Now, uh, all accounts do not get the same level of processing or hits. So, if it is Disha Patani, she gets a lot of hits. Tiger Shroff gets a lot of hits. So, bottom line is, celebrity accounts gets a lot of traffic, and that can cause hot spotting. So we do salting. That means what we have done here is we will mm, we will have a strategy to distribute this unbalanced throughput by adding a prefix. What does this mean? Is that instead of for one logical row you have two physical rows. So you distribute the traffic across multiple nodes. This is called salting. So I explained you salting, and now we will look at timestamp reverse. That means the last record you reverse the timestamp so it appears first. So that way you can avoid hotspotting. It also preserves scan locality per device, and it supports time ordered reads. If you see A and D, so if we see A and D, so A is saying keep the keys as device timestamp and increase the nodes. So they are saying that you keep the keys same, but you increase the nodes. The problem is scaling alone does not solve a hotkey problem. So even though you are telling I will scale up, because how do you know we told to scale? When we say increase nodes, that means you are scaling up. Or D says we will batch writes in data flow to 1 minute windows. That means you will write faster. But see, scaling, A is saying scaling. Scaling will not solve the hotkey. D is talking about batching. See, batching helps throughput, but it is not a hotspot distribution solution. And B, what does B say is you use, instead of device ID and timestamp, you reverse it. You use timestamp and device ID to randomize the writes. Do you think randomization is a good solution? So it is not a good solution because it breaks the locality for per device scans, and still there will be risks of row distribution skew by time. Okay, see, normally what happens, husband's name and wife's name is, husband's name is first, wife's name is second. Even if you see the marriage wedding card or anywhere in the official documentation, it happens that way. Now you reverse it. You put wife's name first or husband's name last. It is the same thing. It does not solve any problem actually. Just that uh, wife might probably, if she is a great feminist, she might feel good about it, but it does not solve much of the problem. So that is why we say C is good, because we got to use sorting. Okay, divide one row into multiple rows so that the rows are sent across different nodes for distribution, and then reverse time stamping. So reverse time stamping, it helps preserve scan locality per device. Now this is the next one. So there is a trading platform. It needs distributed transactions, something like Zerodha or Grow app. Okay. So if you are already into trading, you know that 10 milliseconds, I mean, milliseconds matter in terms of trading. So you have, so if you're building this kind of a platform, you need distributed transactions and very less read latency and sequels with referential integrity across billions of rows. That is a requirement. Sequels with referential integrity across billions of rows. That is important. That means if there is a transaction by the name of Raj, then all those transactions should be tied up in the name of Raj. It should not go in the name of Simran, because we are not watching DDLJ movie. If it goes in the name of Simran, what will happen? The integrity is not there in the database. So which storage should you use as source of truth? That means for building such kind of zero-DAR style applications, what storage you will use so that you get this kind of performance. See, first of all, this is a real-time application. So there is no use of BigQuery. There is no use of BigQuery. So BigQuery in this case is wrong. Why? Because BigQuery is a data warehouse. It is a OLAP system. It is not a OLTP system. Here you need transactional system. That is one. Cloud SQL is not global. Okay. And here we are talking about distributed transactions, so it will not work. See, with Bigtable, you cannot do joins. It is a NoSQL thing. I mean, that is not going to work. This is our answer, option B. So, Spanner is best. It is a global service, very strong consistency, and it scales horizontally with low latency rates. See, SQL will only scale vertically. That will not help. You need horizontal scaling to manage that kind of latency requirements. So this next one is a Firestore question. The Firestore has MongoDB compatibility, so that is a NoSQL kind of a database as a document database, and use familiar Mongo compatible APIs with Firestore serverless database service. You can develop expressive applications utilizing pipeline and etc. features, and harness advanced query features, and it is serverless. That is the feature of Firestore. So here we are talking about building a chat application. And what is Firestore used for? It is used to store room metadata and message counters. Now, what is happening is there is write contention, and you should have to provide a solution to solve it. See, option D is not for write contention. This will option D is saying we will expire old counters, but that will not solve your write contention. Cloud function is at 2 rupees person, just like AWS Lambda. If you use it to buffer increments in memory, this is a custom solution. When you have a standard solution, why to use a custom solution? Cloud certifications, always remember, if your first priority is to look for options which is already available. For example, you are a dark person in India. If you are a dark person, that is a problem. That's why they sell Fair and Lovely so much. That's a cream Fair and Lovely that will make people fairer. Now suppose you are a dark person, okay, you already have some assets, man. You have two legs, two hands, something. So use that to the fullest potential. Don't try to create a custom solution. Don't try to grow a third leg. Okay, you know what is a third leg? Don't try to grow it big. I mean, what I mean is, do not try to compete with Africans. Okay, so what will work in this case? Will A work? A is saying we will move counters to. See, it can work, but again, it is a custom-based solution because you are trying to take the risk from one system to the other system. When Firestore itself has something, why should you move it to Bigtable? That's why I will not choose Bigtable. Let us look at the answer in this case. The answer is option B. Why? Because in this case, option B is saying sharded counter. So whenever you have such kind of requirements, you should use sharding, because it will distribute increments across multiple documents and re-aggregate for reads, which avoids contention. Sharding is the best way. Sharding is the best way. Okay, always remember that. So we are at the end of this part. I hope you like this part. Become a Cloud Kernel member and subscribe to this channel. Cloud Kernel, very small premium. You will gain access to so many questions. See you in the next.